Okay. 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 So as I said before, this depth first search is one of the basic graph traversals. I mean, how you sort of traverse, how do you sort of visit different nodes of the graph using the edges, right? And in the last class, we saw what we may call as depth first search, and we saw an example as well as the pseudocode, right? And that is the pseudocode which we will be using throughout the course. So now, before going further, just yeah, let us try to sort of see some application of this depth search, and we will also sort of generalize this to other graphs, basically the directed graphs, okay, where we will see a lot more applications. Suppose you are given a graph and say you want to find, say suppose there exists a cycle in the graph. Okay, so the question is this: so you are given a graph, so does there exist a cycle in G? So this is the question. So how do you do it?
So is it undirected graph? Can we assume that?
Yeah, as of now we are only dealing with undirected graphs.
So basically, if a visited node occurs again in DFS, then there exists a cycle.
Come again?
Sir, if a visited node occurs again in
Mm.
DFS, then it's a cycle. And also, like when it occurs, it shouldn't be the neighbor of the current node.
Okay, what do you mean by it occurs again?
Basically, it is the neighbor of the current node.
Because even when we backtrack, right, we it occurs again, right?
Yes, sir. So basically, it is the neighbor of the current node, and it
Okay.
is visited again.
Okay, okay. So it shouldn't. So we should exclude such things, right?
It shouldn't be the parent also. Like if it is the parent, then it's fine if it's visited.
Yeah.
Otherwise, all of its neighbors should be unvisited.
Okay, okay, okay. So suppose when, yeah, come
like
again.
if you can perform a DFS and
Mm-hmm.
like keep some counter variable,
Mm-hmm.
if the counter variable goes above n, there's a
Mm.
cycle. It's like there's an infinite loop and we can break.
Okay. Oh, you are sort of counting the edges.
Vertices. Edges. Like
If it
I'm
goes
counting the
above n,
vertices.
what does that mean?
So that means I've encountered more than n nodes, but we know that there are only n nodes. So I must
Yeah.
have
Why have we
repeated some.
encountered more than n nodes? Basically, you are counting the edges, right? You are incrementing the counter after every edge, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So that is the simplest thing from things what we know, from last year. We know that every tree has if the graph is acyclic, then it has at most n minus 1 edges, right? So now you have once you have n edges, it means that the graph has some cycle, right? That is one simple check we can do. Otherwise, we can do what Janmansh and Anirudh said, right? Basically, you keep going in this depth first search. If you encounter a visited node again through an edge, which is not sort of used for the discovery of a vertex, right? then we say that it is, then there exists a cycle. So yes, to sort of define this, I mean, make this even more concrete, right? This, the problem is anyway very simple, right? You might have, all of you might have done this very easily, right? So let us define. So in the last class, did we define the forest associated with the depth first search? Is that clear? We defined some edges which were responsible for the discovery of a new vertex, right? And we said that this will be a forest, right? If you take all those edges which were responsible for the discovery of a vertex, we said that that will be a forest, right? So if you take any tree in this forest, right? So what we saw, we differentiate edges, right? You start from some vertex, right? You keep going, right? After some point you can't go, then you sort of backtrack and you sort of go like this, right? Then you might backtrack, right? Something like this, right? So now there can be other edges in the graph. These edges which we are using for discovering any new vertex, these edges we call as tree edges. Okay, we call them as tree edges, and all the other edges in the graph, okay, are non-tree edges, the edges that are not there in the tree, right? So say other edges are non-tree edges. So we mark these as tree edges, so that this tree is very important, right? This tree or the forest is very important. So we will always mark these edges. These edges are special to us. Okay. Now all other edges are non-tree edges. Now when will there be a cycle?
Sir, by non-tree edges, what do we mean by non-tree edges? Because the graph is a forest, so there are different trees, right?
The graph is not a forest. The traversal gives us a forest, right?
DFS forest, sir.
Yeah. So the graph, the edges of the graph are now partitioned, right? We know what a partition, right? It's a disjoint union, right? The graph is now partitioned into what are called as tree edges and non-tree edges. Tree edges are those edges which are used to discover a new vertex, right? So these are the edges which are there in the DFS forest, right? We call it as a DFS forest, the edges which we use to discover a new vertex, right? So these are the edges. There are other edges in the graph. There can be a lot of other edges in the graph, right? So which are basically present in the graph, but we don't use them for the traversal because it is already used and things like that, right? So it can be something like this, right? So or even, yeah, maybe something like this, right? These are non-tree edges. All this, I don't know whether you can see the color. These are orange, which is not white, right? So these are non-tree edges. So now, can you say anything about the presence of this non-tree edges and cycles?
Sir,
there-
if there exists,
If there's a non-tree edge, there will be a cycle.
Wonderful, wonderful, right? So suppose in this DFS traversal, you sort of differentiated edges as tree edges and non-tree edges. As soon as there is a non-tree edge, then there exists a cycle, right? So that is the claim, right? So if there exists a non-tree edge, then there exists a cycle in G, right? This is in the graph. So always, you should always, just to be cautious, you should always be clear when you sort of talk about edges here, right? We are talking about two graphs here. One is the original graph, that is the input graph. Another thing is the graph we obtain by this DFS traversal, which will always be a forest, right? Those are different things, though DFS forest is a graph induced by the edges of the original graph G itself, but the original graph can contain many more edges. But here we are sort of partitioning the edge set into tree edges and non-tree edges. Now what we are saying is, once there is a non-tree edge, then there exists a cycle in the graph G. Now, how do we prove this? Why is this correct? So this is the statement, right? You guys agreed that once there is a non-tree edge, then there exists a cycle. Why?
So because it connects to
More than n minus 1.
like,
Okay.
it connects to
Sir, it proves that
vertices of
between
a
two
tree.
vertices there are different paths. So if between two vertices there are two different paths, then there exists a cycle.
What are the two different paths?
So,
One-
as in like one will be because of the tree edges and one will exist because of the non-tree edge, sir.
So what are those paths? Because of the tree edge. Suppose there exists a non-tree edge, say UV is a non-tree edge. UV is a non-tree edge. So what is the path now? What are the two different paths you said?
So one will in one path UV will the edge UV will be there, and in another path the edge UV will not be there.
What is that other path? What will be there?
It's the path on the tree, right?
Sir, on the tree, sir.
You go to the most common
All
ancestor
vertices are connected
and
in the
take
tree.
it from there.
Okay, it is the path on the tree. Why? Where is such a path present? Can you say something about this non-tree edges? Suppose UV is a non-tree edge, then can you say something about what is the sort of relation between U and V? The vertices U and V with respect to the DFS forest?
They are both on the same tree.
Come again?
They are both on the same tree.
They are both on the same tree. Okay. Can you say something more?
One of them is an ancestor of the other.
They are on same tree. Okay. Again, someone said something else.
There already exists a path from U to V.
It also another way of paraphrasing the same thing, right? Paraphrasing it. So since they are on the same tree, there exists a path in that tree between them. Okay. Anything more than that?
One of them is the ancestor of the other.
Okay, wonderful. So what? So I can't anyway see who said it. So one of them is an ancestor of another. So without loss of generality, say something like V was discovered first, right? So V was discovered first, then V is ancestor of U, right? Here we are assuming that discovery time of V is less than discovery time of U, right? So is that true? Is that always true? Is this true for every non-tree edge?
Are we assuming there's only one component in this graph?
Not necessarily. We are not assuming that there is only one component, but once there is a non-tree edge, it sort of implies that we are in the same component with respect to this non-tree edge. There can be many components.
So I think last class I thought that the discovery time of the ancestor will be more than the discovery time of its children.
The ancestor
Is
gets
it?
discovered first.
Or the other way around? The ancestor,
The
sorry,
finishing time. The finishing
the
time.
ancestor is always discovered first, right? It's the finishing time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, why can we say this? So they are on the same tree is much more easy to see. Why is one of them an ancestor of the ancestor of another?
Sir, it's in the definition only because we are not like searching a new vertex.
Hmm.
As tree edges, its definition only that we are discovering a new vertex, but for
Hmm.
non-tree edges, it's already exists.
No, for example, you see, are all these orange edges I have drawn, are they non-tree edges?
Yes, sir.
Yes, right? And they are going from descendant to ancestor, right? Somehow, right? Maybe it happened magically. We don't know, right? Why couldn't something like this happen from year to year?
So even if that happens, one of them was
These
discovered before the
vertices,
other.
yeah, these vertices are not, they don't have a ancestor descendant relationship, right? Can there be an edge like this?
There
Yes,
can
they
be.
can.
But we can always take V as the root and start our DFS traversal from there.
So
No,
like
that
there won't
can't
be
No,
an
we
edge
are
happen.
like
not.
that because
We are not doing that actually.
No, we
We don't
can't
want
do
to
that.
take. Yeah,
so
we are
there
arguing
won't
with
be a
respect to this
non-tree edge like
DFS.
that because
There won't be an edge like this, is it? So let me just name these vertices so that it becomes easy for us to sort of argue. So these are X and Y. Okay. Yeah. Someone said, who is that? Someone said there won't be an edge between like
so
that.
because like suppose you're doing DFS and you go to Y, then
Yeah.
you wouldn't have stopped at Y. Like you could have gone to X if X
No.
was not
Yeah.
discovered that
I
way.
mean, assume that this was the first path you saw.
Okay. So suppose you went to X first, like you wouldn't
Hmm.
have backtracked out. You'd have continued on to Y.
Okay.
Or if
So
you went to Y, you would have continued on to X. But since we backtracked out, that means like there was no edge connecting them at that time.
okay. So 1 minute, guys. So 1 minute. ಇಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಸೊ 10:30 hello. Yeah, so yeah, what Aditya said is that see, we were going through this depth first search, right? So we went on, let's say something like v1, v2, v3, v4, v5. Then at v5 we said that okay, there is nothing more you can explore at v5 because all the neighbors are already explored. Then we backtrack to v4, we explored all these vertices. Then we backtrack to v3, then we started exploring. We explored here and we came to x, right? Now why did we backtrack from x, right? So we backtracked from s only because we didn't find any other unvisited neighbor. Suppose there was an edge like this from x to y, then why didn't we explore it, right? So if such an edge xy was present, we would have explored that vertex, right? So we would have explored that vertex y before we backtrack, right? So after discovering x, we would have gone ahead and explored, and we would have discovered y also. And in that sense, y should have been somewhere here, right? Rather than here, right? So which is sort of a contradiction because y is not a descendant of x, right? In this DFS tree we have. So which sort of says that such edges, right, between two vertices which don't have an ancestor descendant relationship is not possible, right? Is that fine? So I am just telling what Aditya said, right? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is important. So I mean, this is not something I mean too great, but I mean every proof is sort of formed of very small such things, right? A very nice observation, right? If not the most difficult or most complicated one, it's a nice observation, right? So suppose there was some edge between two vertices which don't have an ancestor descendant relationship, then that edge, right, would never be a non-tree edge because it would have been used in the traversal, right? So such edges are not possible, right? So such an edge cannot exist, right? So which sort of proves that if there is a non-tree edge UV, then one of them is a descendant of another, right? So the vertex that will be that has less discovery time will be the ancestor. The other one will be the descendant. Okay. Okay. Cool. So this sort of says that you once you find a non-tree edge, right? Once you are doing a DFS traversal and you sort of partition the edges as tree edges and non-tree edges. Once you find a non-tree edge, then we know that one of them is the ancestor of another. Okay. Now can we complete the proof? So Janmansh was saying something like, now is the path clear? What the paths are? What are the paths now? So there were two paths, right? That said that will give rise to the cycle.
One is from the ancestor to the child on the existing tree, and
yeah, descendant, not the child, descendant.
Sorry, descendant. And the other one is the edge UV.
Non-tree edge, right? So there are two paths. One is the path from V is the ancestor, right? V to U in the tree, right? So it is a single path. The other one is, and you take union of this with the edge UV, right? Now this, the path as well as this particular edge, right? So the path is always like ancestor, this V was somewhere here, U was here. Now this edge, right? Once you get, it will give us a cycle, right? So this sort of says that once there is a non-tree edge, then there always exists a cycle in the graph G. Okay. So is this fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So notice that this is how we will go through every algorithm. Okay. So we need to prove every algorithm. So are we done with the algorithm? So once there exists a non-tree edge, then have we proved that there exists a cycle? Right. So
Yes.
okay. So what if it?
So one doubt is there.
Yeah.
Even
Please.
if it is, even if that is not a known ancestor, like you said that suppose that Y is not an ancestor.
Yes.
Even if we connect it, then also there exists a cycle.
Then also there, yeah, indeed it is true that what Suresh is saying is Suresh, right? Who is it? I see it as Suresh.
Yes, Suresh.
Is that your
Yes.
name? Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you can also be connected as some other name. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Yeah, Suresh. So yeah, what Suresh asks is that even though there is an edge between two vertices which don't have an ancestor descendant relationship, right? Then also it's a cycle. Yeah, that is true. But we are not so much bothered about it. We want to sort of exhibit one cycle, right? As long as there is a non-tree edge, we are saying that there exists a cycle, and we will sort of exhibit one cycle and sort of say that, okay, this is the cycle that is there in the graph. So which means that our statement is true, right? We are not trying to find out all the possible cycles, right? That is not even a good thing to do, right? But because from last year you should sort of know that the number of cycles in a graph is pretty huge, right? So we will not try to do that. We want to exhibit one cycle, right? So whenever such a thing is, such a question is there, it's also good to sort of exhibit that cycle, right? A certificate, or what we call as a certificate, right? You exhibit such a cycle. We have here, this is the cycle, right? Which we have sort of, this is a cycle which we have exhibited, right? Okay. So is that fine?
Sir, so the reverse is not true, right? If there exists a cycle, then it has a non-tree edge.
Wonderful. That is what I was coming at, right? So the algorithm is not done yet, right? This is just one direction, right? If there exists a non-tree edge, right? We have proved that there is a cycle, right? So, or in other words, so what is our algorithm? Our algorithm is pretty simple, right? So our algorithm looked like, so check for non-tree edge, right? So I am assuming that you are doing DFS. That 0 steps is perform DFS. Okay, let me just write it clearly at least. Since we are still starting with the course, anyway, I don't want to jump things. So later anyway, you will understand when I say something.
Was it required to prove that they are ancestors and descendants? Because finally
No,
this
nothing. No, it is not. It might not be useful now. It might be useful later. It's just that what we might not use everything we sort of prove, but natural inquisitiveness of humans, right? So you just try to see what all we can see sort of obtain from this, right? So the algorithm was like this, right? First is perform DFS and partition edges as tree edges and non-tree edges. And if there exists a non-tree edge, the question is, does there exist a cycle in S? Then what do we say? Say yes. Right? So if there exists no non-tree edge, then say no. Right? So this is basically the algorithm, right? So the algorithm is basically if there exists a non-tree edge, we are saying yes, right? And if there is no non-tree edge, then we are saying no, right? So what we now proved is that if there exists a non-tree edge, then this step is correct. If we say yes, then we are correct in saying yes. But if we say no, right, then why is it correct, right? If the algorithm says yes, what we have proved here is that, see, whenever we give an algorithm, if the algorithm outputs something, we should say why it is correct. If it output whatever it outputs, right, we should prove that it is correct. Here there is, it's sort of a binary, right, yes or no. When it when the output is yes, we have proved that the algorithm is sort of giving the correct answer, right? Now, when it says no, why is it correct? Suppose the algorithm says no, that there is no non-tree edge, then why is that?
That means
Yeah.
the graph was just
Then
a
the graph is
forest.
a tree, and hence there are no.
The graph was just a
cycles.
forest.
So the division, the partition between tree and non-tree edges is a disjoint union. And so if you say that there are no tree edges, sorry, no non-tree edges, then all the edges were tree edges. And a tree is acyclic, so we can say there is no cycle.
All the edges were tree edges.
No, but X and Y was there, right? It was a non-tree edge, but still there was a cycle there, right? So we
No,
cannot
then
say.
if you
No,
considered
that
X and
edge
Y in
couldn't
that
exist
previous case, then
as
the
far
tree
as-
would change.
So
Yeah.
if this was X and say this was Y and this was X, right? We said that such an edge would never be there
Yeah, that is
in the graph, right? This edge would never be there in the graph, right? So, but anyway, let us try to prove it much more formally, right? So we need to sort of prove it in the graph, right? So one way is to sort of say that once there is no non-tree edge, there cannot exist a cycle at all, right? So how do you prove that there is no cycle, right? So you need to sort of, yeah, can you exhibit, look at every edge and say there is no cycle, right? That is a bit more difficult, right? We need to sort of still go back and understand what these tree edges and what these non-tree edges are and things like that. Here, I think it is much more simpler, right? In this problem. But what I would like to sort of go through is, though, since this is a simple problem, I would like to go through it in a much more generic way, which would help us later also. Okay. So one is either you can prove this statement that once there is no non-tree edge, the answer is no. Or you can prove the contrapositive of this. What is the contrapositive of this statement?
If there is no cycle, then there exists no non-tree edge. Oh, sorry. If there exists a cycle, then there exists a non-tree edge.
Yeah.
Both are true.
Right?
Like
Contrapositive, right? So now you guys are comfortable with contrapositive, right? So what it says is that if there exists a cycle, right? If there exists a cycle in G, then there exists a non-tree edge, right? So how do we prove this? So assume that if there exists a cycle, right? There exists a cycle in this. Assume one cycle, right? Let C be that cycle. C equal to some say V1, V2 to some Vk, right? And Vk going back to V1. This is the cycle, right? So suppose you have this cycle, right? And suppose you are taking some DFS traversal. Now, how do you exhibit a non-tree edge?
So like, can't we just do this? I think like somebody else also said.
so this is the
By
converse, right?
converse, yeah.
Yeah, this is the converse of this statement, right? Yeah, basically it is the contrapositive of what we are saying here, right? So basically we need to prove both the directions, right? We need to prove this one as well as the converse. Only then our algorithm is correct, right? Because if our algorithm gave correct answer only in one case, right? It is not robust enough, right? It is not correct in all instances, right? For yes answers, it might say correctly. For no answers, it might say wrongly, right? That is not what we want.
We can say that for like if we know that there exists a cycle in G, so if we take that cycle and we take two vertices in the cycle U and V, so we know that there exists two neighbors U and V such that U and V contains an edge, and there is also a path from U to V, that is the cycle's path. So we can say that in a tree, like while doing DFS, we get a tree. Therefore, there cannot be a cycle in the tree. Hence, either the UV edge or any edge from the cycle will no.
Can you particularly say what edge will it be?
UV only.
Can we exhibit? So can I take some edge, say Vi, Vj, and say that this edge will be a non-tree edge?
No, sir. So basically, any edge from the cycle will be a non-tree edge for sure, but we cannot say which edge will be.
Yeah, can we do that? So can we be more specific and say that this particular edge will be a non-tree edge?
So we can arbitrarily
because that
pick up
depends
any
on
vertex.
how you're going to do the DFS.
Come again?
So
It depends on how
one minute.
DFS
Pierre is
you're
saying
doing.
something. Janmarsh. 1 minute. One at a time. Yeah.
The edge which is non-tree edge depends on what your DFS tree is.
Yeah, your DFS definitely because notice that this statement should work for any DFS. It doesn't matter.
So
which
we can
DFS.
pick up any vertex and traverse the cycle according to that. Traverse the path, and then we can say.
You can't do that. You can't take your own DFS. This should work for any DFS.
So we can say only for one vertex. Basically, like the first vertex to be encountered in the cycle, it will be an edge of that vertex, but we don't know which other edge, which other vertex the edge is from. Basically, because the first edge which we encounter during the cycle, from that the DFS continues. So we have to.
Why should it be?
Sir, because
your DFS need not pick the edges of the cycle. It might pick other edges also.
Oh.
Why should? I mean, see, the graph is not just the cycle, right? I mean, in your DFS, the DFS, you have these edges. The edges are like this, right? Always they are like this and like this.
Proved, right? There has to it has to be the ancestor. Like because like if any other vertex is encountered first, then the cycle, like it will be the first vertex of the cycle to be get encountered, and the entire cycle will then be iterated by the DFS.
Yeah, so there is some nice property in what Janman says, though it is not completely everything he said was not correct, but at least there is something, right? What he said was, look at the first vertex you encountered in the DFS that belonged to this cycle, right? That is what you said, right, Janmansh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me just write it, then we will try to argue it. Anyway, now I think you guys know this one.
So here, what tree are we talking about? We didn't define a tree yet, right?
We are not defining the tree. We are not even bothered about it actually, right? So you consider the tree that belongs to, see, one thing we can say is, okay, let us come from there also, right? So the DFS gives us a forest, right? Whatever that DFS, it gives us a forest. And what do we know about, say, all these vertices in the cycle? Do they belong to the same tree of the forest?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so all vertices of C are in same tree of DFS forest, right? They will because they are in the same component, at least, right? They are connected, right? So they will be in the same tree. At least that much is true for us. Okay. So this is some DFS. We don't even care which this statement should be true for every DFS, right? So this is true. Now what Janmans is saying is, consider the first vertex of C that is discovered by, anyway, this statement, anyway, you know, so the DFS. Notice the way I am using the article here. This is the DFS, right? Whatever that is taken, right? So you consider the first vertex, right? So this DFS goes in some manner. At some point, it will visit one of the vertices of that cycle. You consider the first vertex of the cycle that is visited by this DFS, right? Let that be, say, let us call it, say, Vi. Vi is the first vertex that is visited, right, from this cycle. Okay, now, yeah, now what can you say about all other vertices of the cycle other than Vi? Where will they be? They will all be in the same tree as Vi, but can we say more?
Same subtree.
What do you mean by subtree? What is the subtree?
Like one of them will be like an ancestor, like the highest in the tree.
Okay, what will be the highest in the tree?
Vi itself.
Vi itself. Yes. Okay, good. Go on, Alan. Yeah, Vi will be the ancestor, and then?
And then the bottommost edge will be the last edge in the cycle.
Not necessarily, right? It might not use any edge of the cycle, right?
So we can say the finishing time of this edge is greater than the discovery time of all the later edges.
That is also true. So one thing you guys are saying is that all other vertices, right, are descendants of Vi in the DFS tree containing Vi. Now from the forest we have come to the tree, right? So what we are saying is all the other vertices will be the descendants of Vi. Is this true?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, is this Yeah, there is some small thing. I would want you guys to go back and think about it. I think we have only 4 more minutes, so we will again look back at it tomorrow, right? So all the vertices will be descendants of Vi in tree, right? Now can you say what will be the okay?
So, sir, can't we define a subtree with Vi as the root, and then all the other
Yeah,
vertices in the
exactly.
cycle?
It is the same. You can even define the subtree, right? So all vertices are there as descendants, right?
Yes,
Good.
sir.
Now, how many? Yeah, are they in the same? Can they also be in different branches, or are they in the same branch? Right. So if I take this, yeah, can the tree look like say Vi is here, and then there are a lot of vertices here, right? So some Vj1, Vj2. Can there be multiple branches like this, which belong to the vertices of the cycle? So can two vertices, some vertex say Vj L is here and Vj say T is here, where Vjl and Vjt are vertices of the cycle?
No, sir, that's not possible.
It's not possible?
No, because the DFS tree wouldn't stop. It would while doing the traversal, we would keep going. We wouldn't backtrack like how Aditya told that time.
So we wouldn't backtrack once we assume that one of this is the sort of path, right, where the first vertex other than Vi, some Vj was obtained here, right? Some Vj not was obtained here. Then you are saying that in this branch itself, all the other vertices should come?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so which means that they almost form a path, is it?
So, but suppose there is a inner cycle within that cycle, then they can have different branches, right?
But even if they don't have cycle, basically, like suppose Vi is connected to Vj, and Vj is connected to some Ti, Tj, and some other tree itself, which are not part of the cycle. But in DFS, it is possible that those vertices are discovered first before the cycle's vertices.
Okay. Okay, now using this, can we say what edge will be the non-tree edge?
We can say that the leaf, not leaf exactly,
I think it's time. Think about it. Go back and think about it. Now I think you should go to the other class. Think about it. We are at a very nice time space here, right? Think about it. What edge will be the tree edge? Now there is a lot of things to think about, right? Once we come back tomorrow, we will again continue this. Okay. So, okay, guys, I think 10:30 will be your next class. So let us stop here. Think about this. Okay.